There's an interesting company called Zappos. Zappos is a shoe company. They actually ship shoes. Somebody else makes the shoes and they ship them. And they do a nice job and they have a really wonderful website and they're owned by Amazon. It's a really nice company. And one of the interesting things about Zappos, they have lots of interesting things about them, but one of them is the hiring process. And what they do is they bring people in for training. And they train them for quite a few days, more or less a week. And at the end of this training, they say to people, we would love for you to be part of the Zappos family. We would love for you to start working for here, but this is not the right place for everybody. And if this is not the right place for you, we don't think this is something good for you. And therefore, we will pay you to not take the job. And they started by offering people $500, and now they've increased up to $2,000. Now think about it, what a crazy idea. You come, you do a week of training, and at the end of week of training, they say, we'll pay you $2,000 not to take the job. Now, these are not highly paid people. These are people who are going to get paid $12, $14, $15 an hour to do customer service on the phone. Why would Zappos pay people not to take the job? And there are basically two reasons. The first reason, if you think about the distribution of people, there are people who love the job and there are people who are okay, and people who don't like it so much. You actually don't want the people who don't like their job so much to be around. Because not only are they not going to do a good job, they're going to pollute other people. And Zappos is a customer service company. They have fantastic customer service. It's delightful to call them every time. But you can imagine if they had people at the negative tail, those people would give customers a bad experience and they might pollute other people. So one thing is they're moving up and up on trying to eliminate that tail. People who are not that happy or don't think they'll be that happy, they don't want to. The second thing I think has to do with cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is a really interesting phenomenon. Cognitive dissonance is about the fact that if we behave one way but don't believe in the same way, this creates a tension, what Festinger called a dissonance. Can we change what we've done? No, we've done it already. Maybe we can change what we believe. And that actually happens quite a lot. You behave a certain way and then you shift your belief to fit with that. In some of the earlier demonstrations, they would get people and they would get them to screw screws on a big board. A really boring task, and they would do it for a very, very long time. And some people they paid very well, and some people they paid $1. And then they basically looked whether people would recommend this to other people. People who got paid very well said, you know, this was a boring task. I got paid well, and this was a boring task. If you're going to do it, I think the task is boring. The people who got paid $1 had a dissonance. They worked on it for a long time, but it was really boring. Can they say that? No, because they only got paid $1. They can't justify it. They can't say to themselves, oh, I worked for a really long time on this boring task for $1. So what did they do? They shifted how interesting they found the task, and now all of a sudden the task was more interesting for them. And they reported it to other people as being more interesting. This is, by the way, one of the theory of why playing hard to get is a good idea, right? Because if you think that if people work harder for something, they shift their opinions for it. So if somebody is easy to get, people can say, oh, you know, I don't chase them very hard and I don't like them very much. But if you chase somebody and your effort shows that you've chased them for a long time, you spend lots of effort to it, you can't think to yourself you don't like them that much because there's a dissonance between them. So you have to increase your opinion. Oh, they must be really fantastic because I wouldn't have worked so hard if that person was not such a fantastic person that I want so much. Now, let's go back to Zappos. What happened to Zappos? You have this $2,000. Now, it's not as if Zappos is telling you, you know what, for the rest of your life, every morning you could wake up and decide if you want to take the money or stay in the job. No, no, you have 48 hours. And if at the end of 48 hours you decide not to take the money, you wake up every morning for the rest of your career at Zappos and you tell yourself, I could have gotten $2,000, but I decided to work at Zappos. That must mean that I really love Zappos, right? Otherwise, why would I do that? And because of that, you go to work much more excited and so on. And from what I hear, the atmosphere there is really like kind of a wonderful cult. People are really happy with each other. They celebrate birthdays. People live together. There's all kinds of wonderful things happening. And I'm sure there's lots of reasons for it. But one of them is that now people convince themselves that they must love the place because they gave up so much to be there.